What is the biggest client you have ever had as a private investigator? I know for many PIs, the dream gig is to land that one huge client, that insurance company, the surveillance job of a lifetime. But the problem is, most PIs have no idea how to go about landing those jobs. So let's go in depth and take a look at the strategies for getting those clients. Hey, welcome to the PI Guy channel. My name is John Morris. I am a licensed professional private investigator. There are several key elements to getting on those coveted insurance company vendor lists. The first piece of advice I have for you is to have patience. I'm sorry to say, but there is no magic way, no magic formula, and no magic words that get you on the vendors list quickly. These things take time, folks. The first thing you need to make sure you do is to understand the jobs you will be getting from the insurance companies. The most obvious, of course, is surveillance, but some insurance companies have vendor lists for investigators to do interviews, scene investigations, and other types of investigations. Now, in understanding surveillance jobs, you need to know what most insurance companies' expectations will be for most jobs. First, let's look at the best start times for insurance surveillance. For the most part, that is going to be between 6 a.m. Monday through Friday and 7 a.m. on weekends and holidays. Here are some key takeaways from that point. A 6 a.m. start means you are on scene, set up, and ready to go at 6 a.m. This requires you to be up early, as most jobs are going to require some level of a commute, 30 to 60 minutes. For most PIs, this means getting up around 4 or 4:30 in the morning. And then there are weekends and holidays. Yep, you will have to work some weekends and holidays to be sure. I have seen many cases that come in that require a weekday and a weekend day, or a specific weekend day or a specific holiday. Insurance companies often have intel leading them to believe that certain subjects may be highly active on weekends and holidays. So be prepared to get job requests right before any major holiday, especially Monday holidays and weekend holidays. The next thing you need to know about is time shots. Many insurance companies require what we call time shots or integrity shots. This means you take some short video, 5 to 10 seconds of the subject's residence in the surrounding area every hour, starting when you get on the scene and the last one right before you end your shift. And if you're not on scene at the residence, then it is expected you get some time shots of the area where the subject is at that moment. They require time shots because there have been many instances where PIs do not go out on surveillance or do not stay on surveillance the entire time, yet they bill the insurance company for the work. Now, what you capture on video and what you do not capture on video is another major topic you need to be familiar with. For the most part, the general rule when obtaining video of your subject is to get everything. Do not just get video of the strenuous things they do. Do not leave out the times they may seem injured. Just get it all. Your job as a surveillance investigator is to gather the facts as they present themselves to you in the field. You are not judge or jury. You are not there to prove or disprove. You are there to get and obtain and present the video and the evidence. And don't include video of the neighbors, the mailman, all of the subject's family members, or cute little animals. I know this is difficult. Sometimes you see activity, so you start shooting video only to discover it was a neighbor or a dog or something other than your subject. And you should start getting video whenever you see activity, but when you edit the video, take that stuff out. I actually use my video camera as my notepad, if you will, by getting video of when the mailman delivered the mail, when the spouse left for work, and other items of interest. The length of surveillance is something else that is crucial for you to know when it comes to insurance surveillance jobs. For the most part, you will be looking at 4-hour periods of time based on activity. Most jobs will come in with a set number of days and hours. The average is 2 days and 16 hours, which averages out to 8 hours a day. And in most cases, it works out to be just that. But the caveat here is the keyword activity. If you start at 6 a.m. and by 10 a.m. you have not observed any activity from your subject and you have no proof your subject is even home, you may need to pull off and save that time for another day. So those 16 hours may not be over 2 days. It could end up being over 4 days if your subject is never observed. In most cases, though, you get some level of activity of your subject, and that garners a full day. And also keep in mind the due dates for the job. All jobs will come in with a due date, but don't make this rookie mistake. Do not look at the due date, then look at your calendar, then schedule to start the job 2 days prior to the due date, assuming you will get it all done JIT, just in time. I have seen it happen hundreds of times where a PI schedules things like this only to go out and find out their subject no longer resides at the provided address, or the subject is on vacation, or whatever the case may be. Then they have no time to recoup, no time to research, and no time to reschedule. So they get only 4 of those potential 16 hours. And what most PIs do not know is that when it comes back, it very well may go to another PI on the vendor list. Another area you must be knowledgeable in to obtain insurance jobs is understanding the lingo. You must be able to talk the talk before you can walk the walk. Let's go over some of the more frequently used terms and abbreviations regarding insurance fraud investigations. WC is the most often used acronym in workers' compensation claims. WC stands for, you guessed it, workers' compensation or workers' comp. EE is often used to denote the employee or the injured worker who filed the claim. And ER does not mean emergency room in most instances. Rather, it is used to denote the employer or the policyholder, which sometimes is denoted as PH. Depo is one of those used in many investigative areas, and it simply means deposition. DOI stands for date of injury. And DOL, well, it could stand for date of loss or Department of Labor, depending on the context in which it is being used. PD refers to a permanent disability, while PPD stands for permanent partial disability. Then there is PTD, or permanent total disability. TPD means temporary partial disability. TTD or TD are both acronyms referring to a temporary disability. We see AWW from time to time, and it refers to an injured worker's average weekly wage. When you see AOE and COE, these usually mean the subject's injuries arise from or were acquired during employment. DX is often used for diagnosis, while HX references history, such as the claimant's medical history. RX stands for pharmaceutical prescriptions, and OTC refers to over-the-counter medications. IME is an important one to know. It stands for independent medical exam. When you see this, it may mean there is a required examination scheduled for the subject, ordered by the insurance company. And when your subject has an IME, it may be a great time to do surveillance. QME stands for qualified medical exam and is similar to an IME. ERTW denotes the estimated return to work or an early return to work time frame. MMI means maximum medical improvement, which is determined by a doctor and will designate how, when, or if the subject can resume his or her regular job duties. FD relates to the job status of full duty and is often used to tell when the subject can return to full duty at work. LD, on the other hand, means limited duty or light duty. Oftentimes, after an injury, the subject will go back to work but on limited or light duty. MOD stands for modified duties at work. PT is used when the subject requires physical therapy. These PT appointments can often be great times to schedule surveillance around too. OT stands for occupational therapy, which may be necessary to train for a new position. And WCAB stands for Workers' Compensation Appeals Board, where an injured worker can appeal a decision if he or she disagrees with claim results. Okay, did you catch all of that? If you need, go back, watch it again. Feel free to pause as often as you need, take notes, or you can head over to my Discord channel where I have a free PDF that lists all of these. I will leave a link below in the description for my Discord channel. Besides understanding job expectations and knowing acronyms, there is one other huge thing you need to understand before you will ever get on any insurance company's vendor list. That one huge thing is called relationship building, and relationship building takes time, folks. You see, there are hundreds of opportunities around you right now with insurance companies, third-party administrators, self-insured organizations, and insurance adjusters. But if you are not out there building relationships, you are just spinning your wheels. I know many a PI who has sent out many a flyer, many introduction letters, tons of solicitation letters, and have had absolutely zero success in getting on vendors lists. What caused them to fail was their lack of relationship building and putting forth a concerted effort which requires a large time commitment to identify, build, and nurture those relationships. The biggest thing you can do right now if you want to get on those coveted vendors lists is to identify specific organizations such as insurance adjuster associations and self-insured associations. After identifying those organizations, then become an associate or affiliate or service member, whatever level of membership that they let you join at. But that is just the beginning. Next, you need to identify when they have their next conference and get signed up as a vendor. Most of these organizations have an annual conference or a semi-annual conference in which you can participate as a vendor. And make that booth shine. Invest in banners, signs, swag giveaways, brochures, and whatever else makes sense. Then show up with all the enthusiasm you can muster and talk to everyone you can talk to while you're there, including your competitors. Yes, your competitors, many of whom are already on those vendor lists, will be there too. You see, you don't go one time, you go once, you go twice, you go 3 times, and you go every time that you can. Now, before I give you the biggest secret of all, to help you get in front of the decision makers, I want you to understand it will most likely take you 2 or 3 trips as a vendor to start to see results. You see, just because you're there, just because you can tell a good story about your company, just because you are ready to go to work for them, if they have no need for your services at that time, they, well, have no need for your services at that time. And remember this, they have seen it all, folks. They probably see PI vendors come and PI vendors go on a regular basis. So many PIs go once, get nothing, then just give up. But after they have seen you 2 or 3 times, then, if they need someone, if they have a call for vendors coming up, they will let you know what the next steps are. Another great way to keep your name in front of them is to keep your face in front of them. Offer to do some free training for the organization. Training on surveillance skills, newest technologies used in surveillance, patience in surveillance, whatever you think you can speak to with honesty in providing benefit. Don't make your presentation a sales pitch. Make it an educational presentation with the desired outcome being to educate them and keep your face and name in front of them. Then there are the deep, dark secrets about what types of injury-related surveillance jobs you might conduct as a private investigator, and I cover that in this video right here.